Shalom everyone. So here I am doing another video on the topic that is sensitive to some people. I mentioned previously that it is a sin for Muslim women to wear makeup, jewelry and perfume outside of their house, and that they were only allowed to wear all those things for their husbands and for family, and not merely just show it to the whole world, their beauty, so to speak. And I actually absolutely agree with that notion. I agree with, displaying your beauty and showing it just to your husband, whether it be makeup, the clothes you wear, jewelry, perfume. And I know, and some of you have noticed by now, that I am pretty extreme in some of my views, but I'm happy with that. I think why not go extreme for the Creator? And I think also sometimes the opposite is true. I think sometimes, why aren't people, as maybe extreme or slightly extreme? Why aren't people taking some things seriously? Why are they taking things fairly lightly when it comes to Yahweh, when it comes to pleasing Him? And of course, these are all my views and opinions, but I think sometimes it's important to bring them up and really discuss it and speak about it, even if it is over and over again. Now, in Islam, it is said that only those belonging to Satan alter, how do I put this? Okay, I'll start again. So in Islam, it is said that only those belonging to Satan alter the creation of Allah. And I think it can be said even for us believers and rewritten to say only those belonging to Satan alter the creation of Yahweh. As harsh as it might sound to some, and as offended as some may be, I think it can be true. And so I want to read a verse of a surah, and it's Surah 4, and it says, "Whoever, forsaking Allah, takes Satan for a friend, hath of a surety suffered a loss that is manifest. Satan makes them promises and creates in them false desires. But Satan's promises are nothing but deception." And I think makeup in itself is a deception. You are taking what Yahweh gave you and you are changing that completely by, as I say, painting on a face, or in a different face at that. You're sort of, in some instances, saying to Yahweh, I'm not happy with the way you made me, and when I put on that makeup, it changes me to look like a completely different person, and I'm rather happier with that. Now, when it comes to speaking about Satan, if we just look at who and which demon it was that introduced makeup to the world, I think that should be enough of a reason to really not apply it to our faces, not to use that product or products which were designed by Azazel, however you pronounce it. I know how I used to pronounce it, but it was designed and introduced for a specific reason, and it's working, unfortunately. But I think as believers we shouldn't take part in that for many reasons, but one, of course, that it was introduced by a demon to the world. So, and of course we know that in Islam, we've covered many times that displaying your beauty and ornaments is forbidden. And I want to read another verse from the Quran, and it's Surah 24 verse 31. It says, "And say to the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty, that they should not display their beauty and ornaments except what must ordinarily appear thereof, that they should draw their veils over their bosoms, and not display their beauty except to their husbands, their fathers, their husbands' fathers, their sons," and then it goes on to pretty much name all the family members that you are allowed to display your beauty in front of. Now, I do want to read some scripture as well, which we all know, but is worth mentioning. So the first one is 1 Peter 3, verses 3 to 4. Don't be concerned about the outward beauty of fancy hairstyles, expensive jewelry, or beautiful clothes. You should clothe yourselves instead with the beauty that comes from within, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is so precious to God. The next one I want to read is Romans 12:2. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. And I think makeup in itself, is very worldly. It is a custom of this world, and one that I don't think we need to take part of, or take a part of, at least not in public, for everyone to see us beautified or altered. And I think if you do want to, I think it would be wonderful, for your husband if he wants that from you. But, outwardly for everyone else, I think maybe stay away from that. But like I said, I'm extreme, and so, those are just my views. However, I do want to point out, as we all know, that, Yahweh created us, and we have been created perfect in the way that he wants us to be. Yahweh is the potter and we are the clay. In Psalm 139, verses 13 to 14, it says, "You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." Now, Psalm 119, verse 73 says, "You made me, you created me. Now give me the sense to follow your commands." Isaiah 64:8 says, "We are the clay, you are the potter. We are the work of your hand." And lastly, Jeremiah 1:5, "I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations." And so I think, if we know that Yahweh loves us and he created us the way he wants, to be exactly like he wants and exactly how we are now, I don't think there should be a reason for us to, or even a need for us to change, ourselves for absolutely anyone. If you're looking for those compliments from guys, for instance, you are then going to try and do whatever it takes to please guys. You're going to dress in a sense that is going to reveal your body. You're going to paint on that face, as I say, to look beautiful for the guys, because that is what you're looking for. But if you know the love that Yahweh has for you, you're going to seek his pleasure instead of guys' pleasure or, the world's pleasure. You will go out in a way and dressed in a way that is pleasing to him only. You're going to dress in that appropriate way. Not wear makeup, you're not going to wear tight clothes. You're going to be dressed in a modest way, as opposed to exposing yourself to the whole world. And I know some people, and women, of course, will say that they don't dress a certain way, they don't wear makeup for guys, but I sometimes don't think that's necessarily true, because if you were content with the way you looked, you would go out the way you are, the way Yahweh created you, with no makeup, with no looking clothes, where as if, you're going to a party and it's just middle of a day sort of thing. You would be happy with just going out plain you instead of, the way you actually maybe do dress and wear all that makeup. So I don't think that's necessarily true. So yeah, I just sort of wanted to do this short video about makeup, because it is a part of modesty. It is something that should be at least a little bit repeated, because yes, sometimes it's nice to wear makeup, it might make you feel nice, but I don't necessarily think it should be exposed, or your beauty should be exposed for everyone to see. So yeah, I just wanted to leave it at that. And yeah, so until next time, thank you for listening, and shalom.